Hi everyone, welcome to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for the special 4 o'clock edition of Live here downtown for the Ripple Effect. This is the Rhode Island DOT's campaign to raise awareness about impaired driving and its impact on the entire community. I'd like to welcome Captain David Palumbo with the Providence Fire Department.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. 27 years of experience.
Yes.
You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot in the last 27 years.
And talk with us about when they approached you and said, can you help give your perspective as that first responder? Because we've had so many folks in here for the Ripple Effect, health professionals, law enforcement officials, family members, people who have been impacted by impaired driving. You have a unique perspective. What was your thought when they said, we really want to hear your story?
I was honored that they asked me to do it. I was a little, I didn't really know a lot about it, and then I met Dante and started learning more about it. The other big thing with me is about drunk driving is I do have a personal effect. My best friend was killed by a drunk driver, so I was definitely want to help this. And after going on these calls for the last 27 years, we do have to stop this. It's drunk driving is really awful on all ends of it.
And how do you, as a first responder, I mean, it impacts, that's the ripple effect. It impacts the community, and for you to be there and do your best to help and triage and witness this. How does this, impact you beyond the incident itself? I mean, again, how does this stay with you?
I think every first responder is probably going to answer this the same way. Like I've said before, we can say this doesn't help, come with us or hurt us. This affects every one of us that responds to these scenes. When you leave that scene, no matter what the outcome is, if it's death, the people are emotionally hurt, they lose an arm or a leg, this stays with you for a long time. When you go home, you with your families, and you go to parties and you see people drinking, and it's always in the back of your mind that this could happen, and it affects every one of us different, but it definitely affects all of us.
So do you want to talk a little bit about your story, your best friend?
Yes, my best friend was Tim Day. He was a Providence firefighter. Me and him went through the Providence Firefighter Academy together. We came on the job together. We became good friends. At one point, we would open up a landscaping business together. And on New Year's Eve, he was killed by a drunk driver.
And so you talk about first responders having this perspective. You must, tell so many people, family and friends, like you must also feel that additional responsibility to say, I've seen this. Oh, this is why you can't drink and drive.
Yeah. So like I said, if people rode a night in the rescue with us and they went on these runs, they would see it firsthand, and they would see both sides of it. And if you spent one night with us, you would never do it. You would never drink and drive again. We had a guy once who was the drunk driver who really seriously hurt a family, and he was sitting in the back of the rescue, and he was talking to me like, oh, tomorrow I have to go to my kid's baseball game, and he had no idea what he did. And I'm thinking to myself, when this guy wakes up tomorrow and sobers up, like his life's never going to be the same, and that's the other side of it. And never mind the family that he hurt. So it's a horrible thing that it can be stopped.
And it's that decision-making moment, and that's what I spoke with the Ripple Effects creator, Dante Bellini, about. Just that decision to get behind the car, but also if someone's been drinking or impaired, their decision-making process is impaired. I mean, how critical is it before going out, before deciding that you'll be partaking, to plan ahead of time to say, right, I might be in this position? Yes,
if you know you have a night coming up where there's going to be alcohol served, you really got to take the initiative to designate a driver or designate a way home to where you're going. Now there's so many cab services around. Uber is actually a big thing. So there's really no excuses anymore. You need to have a plan. Anytime you're anywhere where there's going to be alcohol, you need to have somewhat of a plan how you're going to get home safely that night.
Because this is so much about what the Ripple Effect is about, that decision-making moment, telling all of these stories of the community at large in Rhode Island, again, healthcare, law enforcement, first responders, and talk a little bit as well as the responsibility as the bystander. When you see someone who's been drinking, knowing that they have a car, right, your responsibility to step up and say something.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the bad guy at a party to do this, but you really got to go above that and put that aside. If you're anywhere and you see someone that's impaired, you really have to step in. If you don't, and that person hurts somebody, hurts themselves, that's really on you. There's no reason now. Like I said, nobody wants to be the bad guy. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you'll be faithfully rewarded that you stepped in, and you really got to step in and stop it before it gets to that point.
So here you are again as this advocate for the Ripple campaign to again raise awareness for impaired driving. You know, what's the reaction been for folks who've known that you've taken part in this and have been sharing your story?
It's all been positive. A lot of the guys were ribbing about the commercial that was on TV locally. It's been positive. I mean, we joke about this, but every one of us knows this is a serious subject. And I don't think there's one guy or girl out there that doesn't want to see this end. We've all been on these runs, and you know, at the end of the day, this drunk driving's bad. We lost a couple guys on the job from it, so we want this to end. So it's been positive all over.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come as that first responder because, again, you see so much. And as you said, no one who's a first responder isn't impacted from what they see. And, of course, your best friend having been the victim of drunk driving. So I appreciate your taking the time to come in, Captain. You can hear the radio in the background. We can see you out parked across the street here. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you, again, coming in to give this perspective because you've seen it. And again, we'll provide all the links for all the other interviews and all the other perspectives we have with the Ripple Effect. We'd like to thank the Rhode Island DOT and Dante Bellini for making this all possible. Captain, thank you for taking the time to come in.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow back here in the Navigant Credit Union broadcast.